I talked about Destiny Rising a little bit in an earlier video, but I wanted to dedicate a full video to it because I was enjoying playing and grinding the game more than Destiny 2 in September. Well, I was until I decided to take a little bit of a breather from all things Destiny. This video is not really oh, this is why you should play Destiny Rising kind of video, though. Rather, I want to talk about some things that I think Bungie could learn from Destiny Rising, or that Rising is doing better than Destiny 2. Rising has felt so much more like an MMO type game than I feel like Destiny almost ever has. It feels so much more social than anything Destiny 2 has done, which is surprising considering how much Bungie loves to drive the point of playing with your friends home, or at least how much they used to. For example, clan support. Throughout the entirety of the Destiny franchise, clan support in-game has been near nothing. We had those flag staffs, although they were discontinued in season 19. You had some in-game bonuses for being in a clan once you hit certain levels. Bonuses like, yeah, exactly. You can't name a single thing because no one hovers over that square in the character menu anymore. It has been completely bare bones for the entirety of its life. No in-game search function to even look for a clan. I've been clueless as to how to even answer the question of how do I find a clan in Destiny for years now. My clan, Math Class, has become a place for friends of friends who become refugees after their clans have broken up or became inactive. I have not had to find a clan in years, but World of Warcraft had better things in place for finding a guild back in 2006. And I know that because I used those sources to find a new guild in 2006. Hey buddy, why don't you try something new, like eating actual food instead of that 6th bag of chips this week? This video is brought to you by Cook Unity. Cook Unity make food really good-like, and they bring to your place for big convenient. They got award-winning chefs coming up with new recipes all the time, and then they have actual people make the food. They got a lot of dietary options like vegan and keto and paleo and other stuff. I still don't know what any of it actually means, but they got them. And as someone who has been eating really healthy recently, God, I miss chips. I mean, Cook Unity has helped me stay on course. Stuff like the Peruvian chicken fried rice by Chef Andres Mendez and the oven-roasted pork chop with potatoes by Chef Kevin Meehan have been staples for my healthy eating recently, although my wife's recent K-pop obsession has led her to the classic beef bibimbap by Chef Esther Choi that she ate before I could record the video. I said that I wanted to record the video for the... So if you want to try something a little different, head on over to cookunity.com/Datto50 or hit the link in the description to get 50% off your first order of Cook Unity, and be sure to use code Datto50 as well. That's cookunity.com/Datto50, code Datto50 to get your first meals for 50% off. Thank you very much to Cook Unity for sponsoring this video. Cut to Rising. Now, nothing I'm gonna say is really revolutionary in terms of the content for the clan system in Rising, but at least it exists. Every clan gets their own space to hang out in called a wolf den, and you can add some little furniture to it with materials that you collect when you interact with the pack hunt menu. Pack hunts aren't anything really that crazy either. You simply find a space on the map that has an objective, and you click it and you spend an action point, and it'll automatically complete that activity after a few minutes. Although there are some objectives that send you on an actual mission in-game, and there are some missions that require multiple people in order to participate. Those of you who remember episode 2's weird, 1 minute, what were they called? Minor fieldwork? Something? It's basically that as a combat mission. Nothing crazy. You can also apply to clans in-game with different ranks available to micromanage, again, in-game. There's also a maintenance system in the game where the higher your rank, the more resources you need to sustain said rank, so there is a reason to participate with the clan stuff. Don't worry, I can hear you screaming at the monitor that Destiny players would hate something like that in order to maintain their rank. I'm not saying Bungie needs to copy that part in particular, even if most of the materials come from objectives like play the game, claim a bounty, or other stuff you're already doing. Spaces in your clan increase as your rank increases. But I'm not sure if they can ever decrease. Like, imagine having 45 spots in your clan, and then your clan deranks, and like 5 people get booted randomly. That would be super annoying. So I don't actually know if that happens, but I hope it doesn't. Again, pretty bare bones stuff here. I'm not completely blown away or anything, but considering what it is, which is a mobile game where a lot of stuff is deliberately scaled back in order for it to be completed in a few minutes and or is designed to be pretty simple in nature, it's a hell of a lot more than Bungie has ever attempted for clans. And yeah, they are bare bones things, but they do ultimately still matter for some amount of gameplay. Even Rising's public event style things on destinations matter. They can drop exotic weapon mods. I've never been super high on things like player housing or clan housing or anything like that. But again, for how social Bungie wants the game to be, I don't know why clans have never been iterated on in the slightest. I don't know how much Bungie really calls Destiny an MMO anymore, but they've appeared to be incredibly afraid of even approaching anything in the realm of social MMO features outside of Fireteam Finder, which technically already existed, just in a more crude state. They also have other things to play with in the game. I'm not going to say the card game is terribly complex. I'm not going to say fishing is the most insane gameplay of all time. And I'm not going to say sparrow racing is amazing. I could not care less about sparrow racing. But they all exist in this game, and their existence makes the game feel bigger than it might actually be. They make the MMO experience feel more complete and social. Look at like Mahjong in Final Fantasy XIV, or the plethora of non-gear progression things in World of Warcraft. What is Destiny's equivalent? Team Scorched? Iron Banner? What is there that could be considered an equal? I also want to say, I don't think the inclusion of any of this at this moment in time would be a game changer. There are definitely more pressing matters to attend to, and I don't think much of this would help solve those problems. But in the long term, more clan support, more bringing people together with different social systems would help the social experience quite a lot. One of the top level comments I've seen over the years: Datto, my clan broke up. I don't know how to find another. I don't have a clan anymore. Wish my clan still played. Wish this, wish that, clan. If it were easier for people to stay a bit more connected, if there are more social elements, perhaps more people would want to stick to the game with their friends or find new people to play with. Next up is competitive PvE and leaderboards. There is a mode called Calamity Ops, and the objective is to score the most points and or do a thing as fast as possible with predetermined levels of difficulty. Now, in Rising, the biggest barrier in this mode and your ability to rank up is your level. You can only climb so high before your power level gets in the way of the experience. My level right now, my highest character is like, I want to say 57,000 something, but my Calamity Ops demands, I don't know, like 59,000. The more underleveled you are, the worse you're going to perform, is what I'm trying to say. Power very much matters when it comes to your ability to perform in the game. Your damage, your survivability, everything. It technically does in Destiny as well, but to a much higher degree in Rising. Calamity Ops works like this. You start the strike, your score multiplier is at its maximum, and after X amount of time, it starts to drop, and then it'll keep dropping and dropping and dropping until you finish the strike. So the faster you go, the more points you can get from the multiplier. Back in the Destiny 1 days, there was a website that kept track of certain stats in strikes, and they had their own ranking system that people could compete in. Very similar thing. You know, get a lot of kills, get a bunch of score, get your medals, do it fast. And for a few weeks, a couple of my friends and I would compete on these leaderboards, probably competing against a very few amount of people, but we would compete trying to improve our speed, our scores, medal counts, etc. And I remember having a lot of fun doing it. I still bring it up every once in a while, and it's been like 8 or 9 years since I've done it. To this day, the closest we have come to this is Guardian Games, which is a couple of weeks out of the year, where in order to place in the top 10% of the game's population, you basically just need to play the activity and actually pay attention. I still think a competitive PvE mode could be a fun thing to have in the game. Yes, Trials has had its fair share of issues, but at least Trials and competitive PvP are just that, some level of competitive. There is no competitive PvE in the game besides the world's first race, and that is well beyond the scope of what I'm hoping to see. You can do weekly, monthly, seasonal leaderboards. You can rotate the modifiers around every so often. You're essentially making conquests into competitive conquests, or like, as we used to know them, Grandmaster Nightfalls, right? You can have different difficulty levels too, like -10, -20, 30, 40 levels, whatever. I put out a video over 10 years ago asking for competitive PvE and leaderboards. Rising has it at launch. Destiny 2 has barely toyed with the concept. The leaderboard stuff specifically, it feels like there are leaderboards for everything in Rising. Clan, friends, server. There are leaderboards to tell you where you're ranked within your region. The USA has statewide rankings. Like, they'll tell you you're ranked number 87 in Michigan or whatever. Do I think a good amount of these would get cheated due to how much cheating still apparently happens in Destiny 2? Yeah, probably. But, like, I would still like to know how I rank in, like, stuff. That's a fun motivator. At least for me it is. Reward structure would likely need to be somewhat cosmetic in nature, I guess, but like, good luck with that. Although getting loot that progresses your power level would be a welcome sight as well. Giving loot that corresponds to like the difficulty level of the version that you picked. Not really the main point though. Like, I'm not really too concerned about that. And yeah, again, not something the game really needs right now, especially for the crowd that I imagine would participate with it, but it's still something that whenever we get to a more comfortable space, I would like to see experimented with at some point. Next up, ping system. Need the ping system. Need it. I'm guessing this is more of a technology and or engineering based issue than a Bungie not wanting to do it issue, but ping system, need it. If there is a community of gamers that would undoubtedly benefit from a ping system in a shooter, this is that community. There is a raid boss in Rising where you're shown an image of a boss's weak point and you need to ping it for your team so that they can see it. Ping system. Next is just numbers and information. Rising tells you so much information. It probably borders on too much information, as there are a lot of different stats available to you in the game thanks to how their artifact system works. But even regular perks on weapons are going to tell you 30% this, 60% that, 25% this, scales up to 40% that. You hover over the perk, it tells you what it does. It tells you percentages, it tells you the numbers, it tells you the information. We have gone so long in Destiny 2 with just vagaries of perk descriptions, boost damage, increase reload speed. And I get it, for some people that's enough. But I really don't think the world would break if Bait and Switch said it was a 30% damage increase versus a damage increase. This whole, like, oh, we just want you to use whatever feels good philosophy that Bungie had a while ago was fine when the game was as simple as it was back then. We are several iterations of combat deep into Destiny 2, and some amount of information at this point I don't think is unreasonable. It would be nice to have, even if it was like a toggle in your menu, like basic tooltips versus advanced tooltips. Half the enhanced perks in the game barely say anything at all, and we're now in a world where the majority of weapons that drop have enhanced perks. Rising also has 3 tiers of perks, like blue, purple, orange. So imagine normal perks, and then enhanced perks, and then like, I don't know, super enhanced perks, but it's all RNG to get those drops, and based on the response to the lack of crafting, I don't think D2 is ready for a third rarity of perk just yet. These are just a few things that I think Rising does very well over Destiny 2. I realize that Rising does have the luxury of not only being a new game, but also potentially learning some lessons that Bungie or other games have already learned for them. But there are things here that I seriously question as to why they do not exist in Destiny 2. If you have been playing any Destiny Rising, I am interested in your thoughts. What other things does Rising do better than Destiny 2? What about the other way around? Maybe what does it do worse? Let me hear it. I'm interested. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you next time.